Good day. We've got CEO Mark Binns of BIGG Digital Assets joining us. BIGG provides services to the digital asset ecosystem, including crypto security, crypto trading and staking, and metaverse development. It's Wednesday, July the 26th. I'm Martin Gagel with Market Radius Research. Please remember, this is neither recommendation nor investment advice. We're here to learn about the company. Mark, it's great to have you here. It's been over 2 years since we last talked and you presented. It's a large understatement to say that a lot has happened in the world of digital assets over this time. So it's great to have you back and bring us up to speed. So what's been going on?
Yeah, thanks, Martin. It is great to be back. 2 years is a long time. A lot's happened. BIGG has developed tremendously in that period of time, which is fantastic. And we'll walk everybody through the business and where it is today. And then, of course, we'll do some Q&A when we get towards the end. And, Martin, feel free to jump in if something piques your interest as we go. I'm presenting as if some people are brand new to this story, which would be great. And I know there's some investors on the call that are just interested in, updates and where we've gone. But I'm going to give the full soup to nuts so everybody knows what BIGG is doing. We're a crypto company, first and foremost. Canadian in Vancouver, operations across the country, but also operations in the US and internationally as well through some of our subsidiaries. We are compliance first crypto, as you can see in our tagline. We've been there since 2019 with that tagline, and that's very important to understand as the entire ecosystem of crypto moves towards a regulated future, both in Canada, the United States, and globally. And we build businesses that are designed to take advantage of that, move towards regulation and globalization of crypto and profit from it for our business and for our shareholders. So an exciting story to tell today. I'll jump right into it. Here's the basic structure of BIGG. So public company, trades in the CSE in Canada under BIGG, in the States on the QX under BBKCF. Public company that has three main subsidiaries that make it up. First, there's netcoins. That's our crypto brokerage business or crypto trading platform. 100% wholly owned and wholly built by our own teams. All the technology is ours internally, operating in both Canada and the United States as a legal regulated platform. We'll talk more about that. Blockchain Intelligence Group is our crypto forensics business. So this is a software as a service company that makes software that we sell internationally all around the world to companies that want to stay on the right side of regulation. It's sold to law enforcement to enforce regulation. It's sold to exchanges, government agencies, you name it. And we'll talk more about that as we go. It's a market that's growing very quickly and has a small number of players. So there's a good wall around us from a competitive sense. And we wholly own that business, created and built it from scratch. And then finally, there's TerraZero, which is our metaverse play. The reason it's part of our portfolio is the metaverse is all built on essentially NFTs. The currency of the metaverse is cryptocurrency, whether it's mana or sand or Bitcoin or otherwise, very tight associations. That business we invested in after it was created. We own about 30% of it. It's run by Dan Reitzik, well-known public company entrepreneur in the Canadian market space. And we'll talk more about what TerraZero is doing as we go. Also, a couple of minority investments in a company called Liquid, which is a Lightning Network business. We believe Lightning Network is going to be an important part of the future of crypto in terms of payments. And Zen Ledger, run by Patrick Larson, which is a crypto tax company. You can do all your trades, but you still got to report on your tax returns. And they're a great software company out of the United States that we've invested in. We also own Bitcoin on our balance sheet. It's an investment. We believe in the future growth of the price of Bitcoin, and we'll talk more about that as we go through. What I'm mainly going to walk you through are the three operating businesses, Netcoins, Blockchain Intelligence Group, and TerraZero, and sort of what they're doing at a high level. But before we get to that sort of big overall, why BIGG Digital Assets? It's 3-for-1 crypto. You essentially get an investment in three different companies at the same time, both Netcoins, Blockchain Intelligence Group, and TerraZero. That gives you diversity of revenue streams, diversity of sectors, covering a wide range. If one sector is hot while another one's quiet, we can still take advantage of that and vice versa. We're also part of the metaverse leaders with TerraZero. They're developing, acquiring, in financing metaverse companies, entrepreneurs, and developers. We believe that space is set for explosive growth. We're on the bleeding edge of it right now. It's very early days, and we believe it can bring outsized returns to us and our shareholders. We're also funded for growth. We have, depending on the day, between 12 and 14 million in cash and crypto in the bank, because we hold crypto of our own. As I mentioned, Bitcoin, we hold floats for our crypto exchange business in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, etc. So it floats a bit with the price of crypto, but we're in extremely good position financially. We have no debt, and we have significant revenue generating assets that we'll jump into in a minute. We're agnostic to the price of crypto. So if Bitcoin goes down in a day, it could actually be a great day for us in revenue. It tends to be more trading on movement days in crypto, whether it's up or down. Blockchain Intelligence Group is selling forensic software on a monthly or annual basis. No impact based on the daily price of Bitcoin on our revenues. And then finally, Metaverse business, again, is not tied to the price of crypto. So we're safe and secure from that versus a fund that's directly invested, and that's all they do in crypto. We actually have operating businesses, their own unique revenue streams. Experienced management team I'll walk you through, and there's lots of catalysts coming up around the products and the businesses under our portfolio. All right. Click my mouse. Here we go. Quick trading snapshot from a research coverage. We have FRC covering a Singular Research and HC Wainwright. Average price target on us right now is 83 cents Canadian. We're trading at 36, 37 cents Canadian, more than a double potential from where we sit to the research coverage fair values. About 255 million shares outstanding. Options, which are almost entirely held by management, directors, senior employees of the company. And, we have a lot of liquidity. It's a stock that's easy to get in and out of if you want. 30-day trading volume, I think it's actually much higher now into this year than 350,000, especially if you look across the Canadian, US markets that we trade on. And as we talked about, we're funded for growth. Here's been the revenue curve. 2018 and prior, we were essentially building netcoins and Blockchain Intelligence Group, getting them into the market. 2019, $500,000 in revenue. 2020 really started taking off from that point of view. We did a 5x in revenue into 2021 and the huge bull market that happened there. And I know we'll talk about this more later, but you see another 5-6x growth on the business. And then it pulled back in 2022 as the entire market pulled back, crypto pulled back. There was a lot of failures in the industry. We did not get hit by any of those failures in the industry, but it did give consumers and investors pause, and they didn't trade as much. So it reduced our revenue, but we're expecting to see, and we're starting to see, is a return to more trading, more business in the space, particularly for netcoins, especially also as we launch into the US and expand into the US. We expect to see nice growth in the business. With the halving coming up, we also expect to see increase in the price of Bitcoin and then other assets that follow it typically, which will drive more trading. So good shape from that point of view.
Mark, sorry, just because we're on that page with the bar charts there. So that drop in revenues was primarily like 2021 was a pretty spectacular year for all sorts of assets. And that 22 was just largely on decline of the netcoins business. People were getting a little beat up in the markets and they slowed down on their trading as we had a bit of a bear market.
Yeah, that's all it was. It's just mainly a reduction in trading on netcoins. Blockchain Intelligence Group revenue stayed steady, and we're seeing growth in those. But yeah, people traded less, right? So they took their risk capital and put it away for a little while as the market was tough. Nothing else changed. The product actually got better. The company actually got better, more offerings, more coins available, staking now available, et cetera. So as people return to trading in crypto and just in general, which we're starting to see, we expect those revenues to rise again.
All right.
Great question. Background, my whole background is basically getting involved with companies that have product market fit or trying to help them find product market fit and then scaling the business. That's what we've done here. I've been in here for 5.5 years now. From when the companies and the ideas were, again, bleeding edge. There was no such thing as a crypto brokerage or exchange in Canada when I got involved with this business. We created one of the first ones with netcoins. We created one of the first global blockchain explorers with Blockchain Intelligence Group and their technology, and have spent the last 5.5 years, scaling, adding money, adding capital, moving into the right markets, marketing the business. And that's what we're going to keep doing. Kim Evans is our CFO, absolutely fantastic CFO, great cross-border experience from her previous roles that help us with being a Canadian and US listed entity. We have an amazing shareholder base in the United States that believe in where we're going and what we're doing and see the big picture. And Kim is the perfect person to have at the helm there, both for financing when we do it. It's been a while, but we did some back in 2021. Also, reporting in a regulated future of crypto is complicated. Getting through audit is complicated. So it's great to have Kim on the team. And she's been around since, I don't know, probably 2016, maybe first involved with the business. Lance is one of the co-founders of Blockchain Intelligence Group. All you need to know about Lance, I always say, is he's forgotten more about crypto and blockchain than I'll ever know. He created in his mind the concept of let's de-anonymize the blockchain and create attributions and build technology and software that does that. So Lance has been running that business ever since. Global leader. He actually received an award from Homeland Security a few months ago for their work in bringing criminals to justice using their technology. Fraser Matthews is the president of Netcoins. That's the company that I actually built and passed over. We had a great president, Mitch Demeter, for years, and now Fraser's come in. He's been with us for more than a year now. His whole background is taking technology businesses and essentially scaling them. He knows how to build these companies and grow them for the next phase. And that's exactly where we are with Netcoin. So he's been doing a fantastic job building some great profile in the space, and you're going to see a lot more from him in the future. Netcoins, crypto investing made easy. There's our app on the page, fast, simple, transparent. One of the biggest things to know is that we are one of the pioneers of regulated crypto trading. I actually walked into the BC Securities Commission in 2018 and said, hey, we'd like to get a license for our crypto trading platform, Netcoins, because we think the future is going to require consumers to have confidence in the security of the platform they trade with and know that they're not going to lose their money. There have been lots of frauds and failures before that, dating back to the earliest days of crypto, of course, Quadriga being a big one in the Canadian space. And they said, well, that sounds interesting, but we don't have such a thing for you. So we actually worked with them for years, a couple of years, to build what would be a license for Canadian crypto companies. We also, of course, the OSC gets involved, the whole CSA gets involved. And we were one of the very first ones and the first public company in Canada to get a crypto trading license. We then took this and said, okay, let's expand on it. It's brought us tremendous amount of exposure in the Canadian market and business in the Canadian market, because people knew coming to Netcoins, they could put their money in it. Their funds were segregated from our funds. They were held in cold storage. They were insured. They were safe. And people like to trade with Netcoins. We then took that concept, and early this year, really very tail end of last year, we did sort of a trial launch, but really this year we've been launching in the United States with this business, because the market, again, is moving towards it. The US market is saying there can't be any more FTX failures. We need to have a regulated marketplace. The SEC is coming in hard, saying that we need regulated players in this space. So we've been launching there and taking what we've learned in the Canadian market into the US, and we're continuing to expand. I believe we're in about 18 different states now, and adding all the time. We also launched one of the only crypto cards in the world. I believe it's one of maybe two in Canada, where you can actually have a Netcoins card. It's tied to your account. You can spend the money that's out of your account as you go to everyday merchants with your MasterCard, like your Canadian Tire, your Costco, whatever it is. We have almost 5,000 customers using the card right now. They're earning Bitcoin rewards. We've run more than $5 million worth of transactions through it. And we've paid out somewhere in the range of $150,000 in rewards, because you get Bitcoin rewards for using this card. And this year, Bitcoin has more than doubled. Right around now, it's right around a double. So if we paid you, $500 in rewards or $300 in rewards for using your card, they're worth twice as much if you held onto them, because they get paid right into your Netcoins account.
Mark, sorry, back to the credit card there. So is this tied to your Netcoins crypto account where you could pay off your Costco grocery shopping with Bitcoin, do the transaction on your end and do it? Or is it just a regular kind of credit card, but your rewards are done with crypto?
So it's actually technically a debit card, but you can tap it on any credit terminal as well. But what it does is it uses your fiat balance out of your netcoins account. So it has to be out of your netcoins account. So in our typical account, you'll see like Canadian dollars, US dollars, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. It transacts out of your local currency, whether it's Canadian or US dollars, but your rewards show up in your Bitcoin ledger inside of netcoins.
Gotcha.
There is a future to this product where you can actually tap and it will spend out of your Bitcoin account in real time. We haven't brought that product to market yet, but it's definitely under evaluation at this point because we believe there's demand for it in the marketplace. The merchant themselves would never know any different. Because we would turn your Bitcoin into fiat in real time and they just get paid in fiat. Staking is exciting. We just launched staking in the last couple of months. We're one of only 3 legal registered platforms in the country with the CSA. So this follows on from our original license. Then we added on staking capabilities into our license. There's been over $1 million already staked worth of Ethereum on our platform. You can earn up to 4.2% interest rate by staking your Ethereum. It's not paid by us, the network pays it. The Ethereum network pays it because they're proof of stake now. And we've built the technology for you to just take your Ethereum inside of your netcoins app and say, push a button, I want to stake it and start getting paid rewards. So a lot of people are investors in crypto for long-term holdings. And if you're going to hold your ETH for, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, you might as well get paid interest on it. You can't go to a traditional bank and, put Ethereum in it the same way you can put in Canadian dollars or US dollars and get paid interest. So we made it easy for you to get paid interest. And the uptake is significant within our platform in the early days. And we will continue to launch other staking products other than Ethereum, other coins over the coming months.
Mark, sorry, can you just give a 30-second explanation on what staking is?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically agreeing to lock up your Ethereum as part of securing the network. There used to be, there still is, there's proof of work where you have to run crypto mining transaction or processors, and you get paid for processing transactions. In the proof of work world, in the proof of stake world, staking says, listen, we're going to actually pay people to take their coins, their crypto, and basically lock them up, which takes them out of supply. And generally, when you reduce supply with the same demand, price goes up. So it's part of the model, and they're going to pay you for that. So it's part of the whole model of securing and rewarding people for being part of the Ethereum network. Essentially, there's a lot more sort of technical aspects behind the scenes, but it's you basically saying, listen, I'm going to put my the equivalent of putting your money into a GIC and getting paid a reward, and the bank then uses that as for their own capital. This is you basically saying, I'm going to take my Ethereum, I'm going to lock it up, and you're going to pay me a reward, and it's good for the network overall.
Thanks.
Just quickly, netcoins USA, as we mentioned, we're in 18 states now. We continue to expand. We can talk about that a little bit later, but we have built a mobile first experience in the US. So it's all built on mobile. We've added a lot of partners that some of them don't exist or not available in the Canadian market to make it a really slick product. And we're operating as a no-fee trading product in the US. The markets are different between the two. There, of course, is revenue on every trade because there's what we call spread in the market. The movements of crypto we can take advantage of in real time. That's a big part of what we're doing this year is adding licenses. Every different state has its own regulatory regime in the United States. That's how it's different than Canada. Canada's more of a CSA overview for the whole market. There's no such thing as the SEC hands you a license for US trading. You go to each state, you talk to their regulators. You may need a money transmission license. And those are a lot of things we're working on is money transmission licenses for different states. They require underlying bonds and various things. So we continue to expand the states as we go. All right. Quickly, want to get on to the other businesses. we advertise everywhere. We're well known. We're celebrity endorsements. You're on newspapers, you're out of home, podcasts, etc. It's been really successful for us to explain, that we're regulated, we're out there in the market. Some quick stats. We have 37 different assets offered in the Canadian and US marketplace. The US might be slightly less than that now because we took some down when Coinbase was sued by the SEC. And we just wanted to make sure we don't, again, we're believe in compliance. We don't want the SEC knocking on our door saying, hey, you shouldn't trade those coins. We have over 200,000 registered accounts, 415,000 transactions last year, generated revenue, $60 million of assets under custody. It's probably actually a bit higher now as we've seen a movement up in crypto this year. We've traded $500 million in crypto. This is not a new business. It's not early stage. We're very firmly built into this market. $20 million in all-time revenue. And as we said, the staking market, we're just getting going with $1 million staked since June. Now, Blockchain Intelligence Group. So this is about bringing security and accountability to the marketplace. Just checking my time. All right, we'll keep rolling. Blockchain Intelligence Group builds products that we essentially sell to law enforcement, government agencies, crypto exchanges and brokerages, and everybody trying to secure essentially the global ecosystem of cryptocurrency and making sure that bad actors are weeded out, or if they get into the crypto world, we can find them and track them and bring them to justice. The main product is Clue. Don't worry about trying to see the little squares and circles. That's just a representation of the product of crypto moving through the blockchain. It's showing transactions and crypto moving from one wallet to another wallet. And that's what the product does. We sell it to law enforcement who have to look at crime where crypto is involved. For hundreds of years, there was crime where payment involved, traditional fiat currency. Now, someone might have a crime where they actually pay in crypto because they're trying to avoid authorities, whether it's money laundering or child pornography or human trafficking or drug purchases. I mean, it goes on and on all the way down to scams, simple scams like selling a car that doesn't exist and getting paid in crypto. And the reason criminals have moved towards crypto is they believe it's easier to get away with the crime because it's anonymous. It's harder to track the movement. But Clue was built by Lance and the team, as I talked about, to de-anonymize the blockchain. They have more than 3 billion attributions, which are basically saying, we know that wallet is a Coinbase. And we know that wallet is a Kraken wallet, a hot wallet, a cold wallet, a tumbler, you name it. So to take an example, someone steals your crypto, you report it to the police. All they need to know is what address was it stolen from? What was your wallet address? Then they can log into their Clue license that they bought from us, put in that address, and it will draw them a map. And those coins might have gone around the world 3 times through 25 exchanges, and it might go on for, it might have been happening for 2 months. And the whole thing is laid out in a visual map that says, oh, they're now at Kraken in this cold wallet. And the police could call up Kraken and say, put a freeze on that wallet. Those coins are proceeds of crime. Here's a warrant. There's going to be a court case, et cetera, and try to get those coins back. And they want to know who owns the wallet so they can try to figure out, who actually committed the crime, potentially. Clue has been used in court for many times as expert evidence on cases where the crypto is involved in the crime. We also do training of organizations from, as you can see, from banks, government agencies, universities, exchanges, teaching them how to track the movement of crypto and basically understand the blockchain. And we get paid every time we issue one of these courses. It's an online course called the Certified Cryptocurrency Investigator. It's like getting a CA in accounting, but it's a CCI in crypto. But what I love about it more than the revenue is that we show our products. We show someone who's working at HSBC getting this training how Clue works. And then when they're in training, they usually go, okay, now I need to do my job. I need some tools to do it. And they're more likely to pick our product than someone else's in the marketplace. And finally, the space is super tight. There's really only 5 companies globally that play in this space. Ourselves, which is Clue, TRM, Chainalysis, Elliptic, and CipherTrace. And a couple points on this: CipherTrace was sold to MasterCard. It's probably a year ago now, maybe even slightly more, for a significant valuation. We don't know it. We estimated it at the time at $250+ million. But it was a private transaction. And the reason MasterCard bought them is it is very hard to build these products. Clue, we probably put $25 million plus investment into it, but also 5 years of data collection, using everything from our own research to artificial intelligence, et cetera, to build a database of all the top blockchains and where all the wallets exist, et cetera. It's very hard to do. So MasterCard has giant resources and said, you know what, it's going to be easier to buy one of these companies than build them. So that's the moat around this business. Is there's been no new entrants for years. Chainalysis, their last, I think, VC round gave them an $8 billion valuation. This market continues to grow. The more crypto becomes mainstream, sort of two things happen. One, the more crime it's involved with, the value of the tools goes up, but also the regulation that's coming into the market is saying that everybody who's involved in crypto needs to have the right tools in place to make sure they're not part of criminal activity. So exchanges buy our product to make sure that there's no bad transactions running through their platforms. So it's a great place to be. The market is moving towards us, and I expect to see us continue to grow in that space.
Is that, sorry, going back again, is that would an exchange be using that as sort of a KYC, know your client kind of a tool as well, or more on a auditing or type situation?
You know, there's multiple uses, and we probably call it know your coins in some ways. So if someone transfers coins onto your platform, the tool can actually look at where they came from. Yeah. And we also have, I didn't really talk about it, but we have attributions where we risk score wallets and say that that wallet has been involved in criminal activity. So it's high risk, or that one's medium risk, or there's no risk because we have no data that says it's ever been involved in a criminal activity. And exchanges will use our technology to look at incoming transfers. For example, a new customer signs up, they seem fine, they deposit some Bitcoin, and we can see that 2 steps back, it was involved with this wallet that's marked high risk because it was involved with criminal activity. And then compliance will be notified, hey, you might want to check into this person. Do we really want them on our exchange? And they can dig deeper. We also have cases where, you know, someone has, again, lost their coins on the platform. Someone's gotten hacked. Someone has been part of a scam. Our compliance team will take this technology and track where the coins have gone on the outgoing side and try to help those people. So, you know, it's knowing about the coins coming and going, and it's then deciding who to look at people-wise.
It is part of the barrier where you were able to, you've been doing this in this business for a long time. You picked up some data back in 2019 that identified a coin or a wallet, and now you're able to go back to it, where if you were a brand new startup, you don't have that, you don't have as long of a breadcrumb trail to kind of walk back and get more data points on. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, so we've been collecting data in real time for, I don't know, probably 6, 7 years. And yes, we know that a wallet was involved in some sort of activity back in even like 2019, 2018, and we can mark it. But if you were new to the market and came in and built a product now, you don't really have that history, right? So you can't have that risk scored. So that's a very valid point.
Interesting.
Okay, TerraZero, we'll go fairly quickly through this one and do Q&A, but you know, this company is an amazing business. I've been really excited since I've learned about it. And that's why we invested. We own a third of the business now. They're really about building the future of the metaverse. They talk about global collaboration and unity, but it's really about what is the next big play in consumer marketing is a way to look at it. And they believe it's going to be in moving from e-commerce and, you know, 2-directional websites, which is a lot of our social media, et cetera, now, to more of a 3D immersive environment. I actually just did a virtual reality thing on the weekend where you were completely immersed, headset, the whole deal. And it is incredible how realistic everything is. And you can see people wanting to shop and interact and go to concerts that way, where they're sitting in their basement in Idaho. They're not going to get to Wembley Stadium to see, you know, Eminem perform in front of 100,000 people. There's, you know, might be a kid who's 12 years old who wants to see this concert, but he could pay $2 in the metaverse to go be immersed in a live concert. Anyway, they build technology in the metaverse that makes all of this possible. We'll jump into it. They have multiple business units. First of all, they will buy real estate, virtual real estate in different metaverses like Decentraland, Sandbox, so they can then use that land to run experiences. They might sell the land, or lease the land to Miller Lite, who wants to put up a bar for a week when they run a Super Bowl ad. And I'll show you that example in a minute. They also develop the experiences. That's a big part of their business. If you want to hold a concert in the metaverse, someone's got to build it for you. And Warner Records, might call TerraZero and say, build a stadium and set it up so we can actually host a real live concert. They build the infrastructure behind it, marketing, events, predictive analytics. We'll get to an example in a second here that'll really help. There's the different pieces of revenue as well: land leasing and renting, virtual asset design. They build buildings that other companies want to put up in the metaverse and sell them to them. Stadiums, arenas, wearables is a huge thing. Clothing. An example that probably a lot of people know is if your kid or someone plays Fortnite, they buy skins, they buy clothes to put on in the virtual world, and that matters to the players and the people that are in there. TerraZero can help clothing companies, as just one example, bring their products into the virtual world and sell them and generate money from the virtual products and also the real products. Just a quick example, they build a Nike store, they put it in Metaverse in Decentraland. People walk in and they see shoes, and they can say, I want to buy those shoes, just like an e-commerce site, and the real shoe will show up at their house. They can actually use it, look at it in the virtual world, and then buy it. Or they might also say, I want to wear that shoe on my avatar, and they will buy it as well and wear it around in the virtual world. And then Nike has two different revenue streams from that point of view. Here is the Miller Lite bar that they built for Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl ad is 30 seconds long. It costs you $1, $2, $3 million, whatever the going rate is. And you have 30 seconds to get your message out to consumers. Miller Lite said, we want to extend that 30 seconds. So they went to TerraZero and said, can you build us an experience in the metaverse? TerraZero built this Miller Lite bar, put it on land that TerraZero already owned in Decentraland. And inside of it, there's an actual bar, there's all sorts of Miller Lite branding, there is, slot machines, whatever there might be in this bar, or video terminals. They ran the ad. They had the highest number of people at one event or attraction in the metaverse up to that date, to my knowledge. And the number was people spent on average like 17 minutes or something inside of this Miller Lite bar. So they took a 30-second ad and engaged with a consumer for like 15, 17, 20 minutes, which is a phenomenal success. So they're now building experiences in the metaverse for everything from retailers to Molson Coors, to the Estee Lauders of the world, and music stars are doing it. They actually built a mansion for Jason Derulo to launch his new single last summer, and then he'd promote it and say, come to my launch party. And if you had a real launch party in LA, he could get a couple hundred celebrities there. His launch party in the metaverse could draw thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even if that made sense, or if he could get them there to his launch party. And he's got, X million followers on his social media he can promote it to. So just a couple of examples of what they're building. And I'll just wrap up here. Where are we going? What is next overall for BIGG Digital? We're continuing to look at investments in the space, whether it's crypto, metaverse, NFT, blockchain. We have 3 businesses, but there could be more great opportunities in this market, which is a bit soft. We're continuing to focus on institutional investors. That's why we're doing events like today with Martin to get more eyeballs on our stock. I know people are going to ask about uplisting. We continue to look at it as the market gets better. We will uplist, moving up to different markets. If the market is not, conducive, is really just more overhead and costs, which no shareholder wants, with no gain. So we'll continue to look at that as it makes sense. We're going to keep expanding netcoins into the US, new product launches and expansions of product, both at Netcoins and Blockchain Intelligence Group. Whether that is, like we talked about, adding crypto payment to our card, or adding more blockchains to our Clue product that can be de-anonymized so the product becomes more valuable to law enforcement. These are all things that we're going to continue to do this year and beyond. And I think that is the last slide. We'll have a little Q&A here, but my contact information is there. I do get back to as many people as humanly possible. We have tens of thousands of shareholders, so we can't talk to everybody all the time, but we do our best, and hopefully we can answer your questions and We appreciate the support of all of our shareholders and stakeholders, and hopefully new shareholders today as we continue to build this business.
Mark, okay, that was great. Thanks. Yeah, we have a little bit of time here for some questions, so try to hit as many possible. Start on the bigger side, on sort of the broader crypto market. Where do you see it going regulatory wise? Is the industry fully regulated at this point, or are the regulators still a couple of steps behind and still trying to figure out how to wrap their arms around the crypto world?
Yeah, great question. It's a work in progress, and it depends on where you are in the world. Canada is actually one of the global leaders, I would say, in regulation for sure. The Canadian marketplace, you can't operate an unregistered platform in Canada legally anymore. They will shut you down. They will bring enforcement action. And the Canadian regulators have, particularly against foreign-owned entities that are just decided to sort of try to ignore regulation in Canada, and they've been kicked out. The companies like OKX and Bybit and even Binance has left the Canadian market because they didn't want to abide the ultimate analysis by the Canadian regulations, which is again fantastic for us because the number of competitors is shrinking while simultaneously the pie will continue to grow over time of trading volume. The US is halfway there. They don't have a lot of specific crypto regulation. They have money transmission licenses, but the SEC is really weighing in, as we see, and Biden, bringing Congress to say we want to do a study on crypto in the US. The great part is the US hasn't said we want to kill crypto. By saying we want to regulate it and study it and et cetera, that's essentially an endorsement in the future. That's a saying we know it's going to be part of our financial ecosystem going forward, and we got to get our hands around it. So in my mind, that is actually one of the best things that can happen. It's like a true government saying, this is real, it's here, it's not going anywhere. Let's make sure it's safe and secure. And then around the world, there's regulation in Europe. But there's lots of places in the world where they don't have regulation, and there's still exchanges out there that operate without any KYC or any monitoring or any safety, and they could go under tomorrow, and your crypto or your fiat would be gone. So it's why I always encourage people, trade with regulated platforms, trade with netcoins. But it'll continue to happen. Regulation is coming, and it'll just like the traditional financial markets. Soon it'll be the only thing out there globally.
There's been consolidation and a bit of drama, not as much drama as in the US here in the Canadian market. How does that affect? Does that create opportunities for you? How do you position yourself within a regulated market?
Yeah, we welcome all of the consolidation. Really, it's just bringing regulated players together to offer services. Part of the consolidation is the removal of competitors, like I mentioned, like the Binances of the world leaving the Canadian market. Fantastic for all of us here that are serving properly, legally, and safely investors and retail consumers and institutional buyers like funds and in the Canadian market. So all of this, I think, is positive for the market and for us going forward.
On the let's say on the cryptocurrencies themselves, you mentioned the halving of the Bitcoin and generally any thoughts on catalysts in the cryptocurrencies and in the markets that would either be positive or negative for the market?
Yeah, last year was all negativity. 2022 was the year of the big failures like the FTXs, the Voyagers, the Three Arrows Capital. Some of them are more just legitimate failures, and some of them are more fraudulent type failures. So that was very bad. It got people, scared to be in crypto to some degree, or trade crypto, or worrying about what exchange they're, with. Which is why I love regulation, because if your coins are with netcoins, again, they're safe, secure, insured, all of those different things. Even if netcoins were to go away, it got people particularly out of altcoins, which are the smaller coins. You saw dominance of Bitcoin rise because there was more of a flight to safety and security, and Bitcoin is the most trusted original crypto in the market. What you're going to see going forward towards the halving, sorry, you mentioned, is we're really excited because the halving is historically, and you look at all the data, driven the price of Bitcoin higher. Basically, it reduces supply. The supply that comes out of new Bitcoin every day, every week, every month is based on the algorithm that pays miners. And now when the halving comes, that means they're going to be paying out half as much. So the expansion of the money supply of Bitcoin is going to be half the speed it was previously, assuming demand stays where it is. That usually drives price. It has driven price very significantly around the last few halvings. So as we move towards the halving in April 2024, we think the price will rise towards the halving with anticipation and then usually rise nicely after it happens. That brings a lot of excitement back to the market. That'll bring a lot of people back into trading that maybe haven't traded over the last couple of years, which then on top of that drives revenue for, of course, netcoins as trading volumes go up. So the future from that point of view is very positive, where we think the market is going and with these events. Bad things that would happen just quickly, more exchanges going under and catastrophic failures or frauds, which is why, again, we encourage people to stay in the regulated world.
All right. Bitcoin is still largely a store of value. Its transaction speed, I believe, is not, like, it's hard to buy a cup of coffee with it. But you mentioned the Lightning Network. Or is the technology progressing where it'll have more features and more usability?
Sorry, Martin. I was reading the customer questions, or sorry, the investor questions, and I missed you. Can you say that again?
Is Bitcoin getting closer to a transactional kind of currency? Where you mentioned the Lightning Network, and you have some investments in there. How is that technology progressing so I can buy my cup of coffee with Bitcoin?
Yeah, it's coming along. I mean, I think there's two ways. There's that netcoins pay card, which soon you'll be able to, I hope, use it and actually pay in Bitcoin on the back end. But the Lightning Network is really coming along. The stats are showing a large growth. I know that if you go to a crypto conference or a Bitcoin conference now, like Bitcoin Miami, the Lightning Network is becoming the talk. There is a real belief that to truly get Bitcoin and crypto globally used, it has to be part of payment. Right? Like you just talked about, not just investment. I mean, if your US dollar was only for investment and not for payment, its use would be lower. So I believe that we are moving towards that direction. We just saw, I think it was Coinbase, it was either Coinbase or Binance, I have to refresh my memory, said that you can now use Lightning Network on their exchange for funding. So the adoption by companies like exchanges and then ultimately retailers is going to move us towards payment. So it won't come as fast as everyone thinks and wants. Usually these things always take longer than you think they will, but we're going to look up in 3 to 5 years and we're going to go, well, of course you can pay with Bitcoin at the retailer. Why not? It might not be in 3 months from now, but there's a lot of investment corporately in the infrastructure of the Lightning Network. And when you see big exchanges adopting it, and someday we're going to see PayPal adopt it, it's going to go crazy. Just like when PayPal started adopting crypto in their platform.
Institutional investors in BIGG and in cryptocurrencies, are you providing any custodial services, and are you seeing more institutional investors in the space?
Well, we're definitely seeing more institutional investors in the space. It's come and gone, right? We went through 2021, we saw institutional interest, then it went away. It's definitely coming back. I'm getting calls from institutions now proactively saying, is there an opportunity to invest in BIGG? And I'm telling them, we're cashed up right now. Let's get you into the market and investing in the market. We've seen the stock go from 22, 23 cents to 36, 37 cents this year. Great return so far. Really happy with that performance. We want to see it keep going, of course. So we are seeing the institutional investment, and we are seeing it in crypto, right? I mean, at the top level, you see MicroStrategy that never stops talking about all the Bitcoin they're buying and accumulating. But we know guys all the way down to running their own small businesses want accounts at netcoins. They want corporate accounts, and they want to buy crypto and use us for custody. So we're not technically a custodial solution. Like, we don't provide custody to other exchanges, but we do provide custody to all of our customers, where you can buy crypto, leave it on the platform, We store it in secure cold storage wallets. We insure it. We keep it safe for you. So custody is automatically built in for our institutional and retail customers at Netcoins. And it's a definite move in that direction that's happening.
TerraZero and Facebook's Metaverse, are those opportunities, or is that a threat, or how does that Metaverse evolve?
It's an opportunity. So when Meta, Facebook, which is now Meta, says, you know, we're going to build this space, that's incredible, right? Because you got one of the largest tech companies in the world that's helping push and develop the Metaverse space and the Web3 space. The launch of, you know, their own Metaverse gives TerraZero another place to own land, to build experiences, to help companies globally that say, we want to be in the market. We don't even know how. The Metaverse is very much 1997 of the internet. I remember those days well, when every company figured out, oh, we need to be on the internet. We don't even know what that means. The marketing managers were just calling up web development companies and saying, get me on the internet. And we'd say, what do you want to do? Well, we don't know, just need to be on the internet. You're seeing that in the Web3 space and Metaverse space now, where all the large companies globally are saying, we better build our experience and start now before we get behind the curve. And they have to come to companies like TerraZero that understand the space and can build experiences and have land, or teach them how to, you know, buy their own land or where to lease it. And again, Facebook coming into the space helps accelerate that, gives it exposure, and gives TerraZero another playground to generate revenue and help customers.
All right, we're running out of time here. I'm gonna mash together a whole bunch of questions into one bigger one in more of future looking for BIGG. BIGG's now essentially a holding company. You've got 2 wholly owned subs, 1 significantly owned subs, and some smaller investments. Are there opportunities for you to unlock value by selling them off, or like, does TerraZero potentially have an IPO in its future? What is the future for BIGG, and what are ways for you to unlock value for shareholders?
Yeah, I mean, our main goal is to unlock value by growing the businesses. We are not actively looking to sell or divest the companies that we built. It is about growing them, growing the revenue base, and making BIGG overall a more valuable business by growing each of the subsidiaries, by growing customer bases and revenue streams within those. As I always say, if someone comes knocking to buy something, whether it's BIGG, whether it's a subsidiary, we will look at it, because we have to. We have a fiduciary duty to our shareholders to look at all opportunities as they come to us. And if someone says we want to buy Blockchain Intelligence Group for X amount of dollars, we will have to have a look at it. But we're not out marketing or trying to sell any of these businesses. We're very much trying to build and grow the portfolio, if anything, of businesses that we have with us. We're working with TerraZero on what is their future plan to basically grow, because we own a good chunk of that business, and if it becomes more valuable, all the better for us. So we're working closely with them on what is the next steps for their business, and we continue to look at other opportunities in the space. There may be other companies in this, as we call it, you know, more bear market or down market, where we see a good company that we could pick up for a good valuation. We might add companies to the space. So we're thinking grow, add, increase revenues, not sell.
All right. We've gone 5 minutes over our hard stop. Do you have time for some more questions, or do we have to hard stop it here?
Well, I think we'll call it there. That's been a great overcap of the business. You know, again, we appreciate all shareholders. Feel free to reach out to myself directly if we didn't get to your question at the email below, and I can give you a direct answer. But yeah, it's been an exciting year so far, right? From where we started, you know, the end of 2022 was the depths of despair in the crypto market, and we've seen some new optimism, you know, recovery of price in Bitcoin. We're excited about moving towards the halving and where the market's going to go. And you know, we've seen the share price go from 25 cents to $2.75. Back to 3.5 cents during the bottom of the last bear market, up to $5 in the 2021 bull market. And unfortunately, there's been another really hard bear market, but the company is actually a better business than it's ever been, right? More customers, more products, more revenue streams, more investments. And we believe as the bull market comes back, our shareholder base will be, well rewarded for investing in BIGG Digital Assets.
Mark, thank you very much for taking the time to bring us up to speed. It's been too long. Love to have you back in less than 2 years for the next update. Have a great day and talk to you soon.
Thanks very much, Martin. We'll talk to you soon.